ways to get big step functions like big guests that get press and things
Sure.
like that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Bushkar, and I'm here with my brother Jesse. Say hello, Jesse.
What's happening? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, and this is Not Replaced Yet Office Hours, the show where we run down your daily news and AI. Sorry, my dog is attacking me below here. And we try to keep you informed, educated, inspired, and hopefully just a little better, a little more optimistic, hopefully, about the world of AI and what's to come. And if you are here watching, thank you so much. Please pop in a chat, ask any questions away. Think of us as your personal AI consultants. This is the type of stuff that we live and breathe every day. And also, please give us a follow. It would really help us out. And if you know anyone who would be interested in this type of content, and really everyone should be, please share it with them. And like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If I said it twice, do it twice.
Do it twice.
So happy Wednesday, man. What's going on in your AI world?
Ooh, well, I'm feeling a little nerdy. I just downloaded Windsurf, the coding IDE that might be sold to OpenAI for $3 billion.
As the developer out of the two of us, I mean, you're a developer. As the more recent, the main, you know what I mean.
Better developer.
I've never used Windsurf actually, which is a stupid and dumb on my part, and I'm going to download it right now as we talk. So. Thoughts? What'd you do?
Oh well, I've authenticated with my Google account. That's as far as I've gotten.
Dude, you're killing it.
Yeah,
you got this.
It is actually
Vibe
live.
Code Master. In one of our, what was it? In our first episode ever, one of the quotes we pulled out was from you. You said, "I want to be a Vibe Code Master."
That's right. Right. And then the very next day, the internet turned on vibe coding, and we're all a bunch of jabronis. Like, look, I just want busy work out of the way. It's funny you talk about the audience and like if you know someone and who's interested or should be interested, and everyone should be interested. I don't think I told you this, but I was talking with Lydia, my daughter. She's 13, and she was like, "Tell me about your podcast." So I'm telling her about what we're doing, and she said, "Do you think I should listen to it?" And my first thought was like a maybe it depends kind of thing. And as I thought more about it, I was like, absolutely, you should listen to this. Like, this is content that we make this content because we believe it matters for like a mass audience, not just our friends and family. But first and foremost, I hope our friends and family learn things and are better positioned to navigate the changes ahead. And that's like quadruple for my own kids. So it's going to become mandatory listening. We're going to get 3 new subscribers. And as Patty Galloway says, YouTube owns.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you for the seconding. Patty Galloway said that YouTube has 80% market share ages 2 to 11, which is the youngest demographic research I've ever heard, and like borders on unethical.
Odd.
And also probably very true. Yeah, probably very true.
Well, no, I don't, not unethical, because YouTube legitimately has a very real YouTube Kids section with a lot of children's content and whatnot,
and a lot of problems. So just
yes, lots of problems. Stop those problems.
Right,
you know what?
Right.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Stop those problems.
We're against those problems.
We're against those problems. Mm-hmm. All of them. Yeah. Well, all right. I think we should jump into today's top stories.
Let's do it.
And I'm just going to pull up my notes over here, get them ready real quick. And today is Wednesday, April 30th. And let's begin with a major update in consumer payments. Visa is partnering with Microsoft and OpenAI to build AI-powered shopping assistants that could eventually make purchases for users using their credit cards. I said that awkwardly. From booking flights to ordering groceries, the goal is frictionless automation, but it also raises new concerns about privacy, security, and control.
Yeah, and that same kind of AI delegation is showing up inside of tech companies themselves. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella says 30% of the company's code is now written by AI. Over at Meta, Mark Zuckerberg expects that number to hit 50% soon. It's not experimental. AI is becoming a central part of how software is developed at scale.
We're also seeing major shifts in education platforms and collaborative tools. Duolingo just released 148 new courses, all built with AI. This comes just months after cutting 10% of its contract staff. In contrast, Wikipedia has made it clear that while they will use AI to assist with moderation and cleanup, human volunteers will remain at the core of article creation and editing. It's a clear boundary, support, not substitution.
Yeah. Let's turn to legal and regulatory developments. In the UK, lawmakers have revised their data bill to address concerns about unauthorized AI training on copyrighted material. Copyrighted, copywritten. The new language introduces opt-out protections for creators. And in the US, Anthropic is proposing adjustments to upcoming AI chip export controls. The company argues that overly broad restrictions could hinder open source development and slow innovation.
And back over at OpenAI, they're thinking about what's next for user interaction and monetization. During a recent AMA, Ask Me Anything, OpenAI previewed customizable ChatGPT personalities and floated the idea of AI tokens. I wonder if that's a bit like crypto, a kind of internal economy for advanced agent usage. These moves suggest a shift towards more personalized and potentially commercialized AI experiences.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love the crypto intersection. In healthcare, AI is gaining ground as a clinical tool. At Vanderbilt's Cancer Symposium, researchers presented new ways that AI is helping with diagnostics, treatment planning, and patient outcomes. It's another sign that AI's biggest impacts may come in areas where precision and speed are critical.
And finally, a quick update from the frontier of specialized models and in our daily update in the US China AI race. China's DeepSeek just released a significant upgrade to its math focused AI. The model now demonstrates improved reasoning and accuracy, part of a growing trend towards domain specific systems that go beyond general language tasks. And that covers it for today for your top stories. Jesse, any thoughts, comments, ideas, or we don't even have to talk about the news anymore because we just did that.
No, I mean, that last piece around specialized domain specific systems, I'm on that clip right now. We were talking before we got on live, and I was telling you about the latest Dwarkesh with Mark Zuckerberg. I'm listening to Mark Zuckerberg just finished this. It's an hour and 15 minutes about Meta's kind of state of the union for how they think of AI, how they're using it, how they're forecasting it, et cetera. And comes on the back of the Llama 4 releases. But he has kind of clearly elucidated in that interview, and we might pull some clips into a future episode because it's really rich, that's kind of his view, is that there's going to be these special made models. And actually what they're doing, are you familiar with distillation? Do you know the concept of distillation of the models?
Remind me.
So as I understand it, and I'm sure technically speaking, I'm going to miss some important details, but DeepSeek it's distilling down a model you interact with. It's like you can, by like testing your model against like a source model for like rapid reinforcement learning, it's like using the model itself, and so what you get is a copy of a copy, but that retains a lot of the value. And so what
I see, the AI overview I see here is AI distillation is a technique where a smaller AI model, the student, learns from a larger, more complex model, the teacher, to achieve similar performance with fewer resources.
Yeah. And that's how DeepSeek distilled down a lot of the larger models. I don't know if it was GPT-4 or whatever it was, but that's
Probably
one of the ways it went really fast, is because they were able to use this distillation technique. So Zuck was saying that their Llama 4, and I'll get to my point, we're bad at caveating our stories, and saying and like a lot. They released Llama 4, they released Scout and Maverick, which you reported on a few days ago. They're releasing Behemoth, their largest ever model. I think he said it was 2 trillion parameters, but that might have been for Maverick or something. I don't know. It's a massive, massive model. And it was interesting because it's open source and they're releasing it to be used and hosted by other developers. He said it's really impractical for anyone to host this because it's so gigantic. And what they really see the value is people distilling from Behemoth down to manageable special use case models. And so that was like, oh, I had never even thought of that as like the reason to build a giant model and open source it, is so people can distill and have their own custom built models. So that is super nerdy and was just an aha moment. But um, when it comes to like why someone should care, or like the so what, I wonder if models calling models is like a step towards AGI in the use cases. Like we talked about MCP, right? Like this enablement layer for tool usage for like remote tool calling and function calling. Well, GPT-5 is supposed to like pick the model that it's from the best. If reasoning would be best, if a web search would be best, if a creative writing would be best, it's supposed to like do all of that. Well, is that just not tool calling? Like I don't know. I'm kind of like down a rabbit hole in special use models versus like one model. Do you find this like an interesting layer at that
Oh yeah,
geeky?
I do.
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think it's very interesting. It's kind of connected. I mean, I think it is, but I was listening to a new podcast that I just started listening to is the Sequoia Capital podcast called Training Data.
Mm,
And it's interesting. They have seemingly a bunch of good episodes. I've only listened to one, and it was their latest one with I don't know if he's not the CEO, but he's one of the high ups at Isomorphic Labs, which is the CEO is Demis Hassabis. So it's an Alphabet company. It's like an
yeah.
Alphabet sub company, and basically the title is "The Quest to Solve All Diseases with AI." Isomorphic Labs Max Jaderberg,
Mm,
and it's about AlphaFold and their attempts to solve all diseases. And so the AlphaFold example is AlphaFold is a very specific use case of the AI of an AI model that's going after a specific thing. And I don't know if it's like kind of connected to what you're saying, kind of not, Um,
yeah.
and so that one was really interesting, and I'm very very excited and interested in that space. But yes, the specificity of models to do different things. You can also kind of imagine a human corollary where different parts of our brain is like good at different things. And I know it's not
Hmm.
as like linear or like segregated as we used to think it is. It's not like this one little part does one thing. It's more mapped overall together. But um, yeah, I'm a bit rambling as always, but the other thing that I'm thinking of is the way that I've seen all of the agentic AI companies run things right now is that they have the orchestrator agent, and then that orchestrator creates sub agents, and
Hmm.
so the sub agents go off and do things, and then they report back to the orchestrator. And so I think that that type of architecture makes a lot of sense and has like corollary to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. We shall succeed. Like it's kind of obvious in hindsight, I guess, or it like makes sense in hindsight. I never thought of that as how it would be. As like for such a long time, we just talked about such a long time. It's like 12 months. We
Right.
talked about like just pure intelligence, and I think the conversation was like, oh, a smarter model. We're going to go from
Yeah.
GPT 3.5 to 4 to 4.5 to whatever, and they're just going to be smarter. And it's like, I think the architecture that emerges is very interconnected with lots and lots of layers and nuance, and that's good for the world and good for us. I think the like that just means there's fail points. That means there's need for humans in those points to like be aware. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like if it all just kind of black boxes down into an AI's like training weights, well, that's the least interpretable, least bug fixable stack there is.
It's so
So
funny because, as usual, my mind went the opposite direction. I imagine, oh, so the human touch point is with the orchestrator, and then the orchestrator goes off and makes a bunch of like black boxed calls that we don't understand or don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and we only know what's going on with the orchestrator, and so it's actually more hidden to us. So I don't know. Yeah,
well, it's
my
the third party
pessimistic
nature.
hat.
It's the third party nature of it. I see what you're saying. Like it is kind of like outsourcing all the quarterbacking to something you can't predict what it'll
Right.
quarterback. I think it's the third party nature of like if it's not, and maybe I'm on my first example and you're on your last example and they're not quite the same, but like the idea that, oh, my operator agent would need to like make a call across a line to a third party company or something, there would be some like API call, some parameter, some log that, in some integration that has to be maintained. And it's not just, now that's different if like I've got an ecosystem and I have one agent that spins up 20 agents inside that same ecosystem and it's just like internal, that's a little different. But I don't know, that's down the sci-fi weeds that we're not building those systems. So
we went
we'll
down
see how
a
it works when we
nerdy
use
rabbit
them.
hole.
Yeah.
We need to talk about our audience and for all 0 of them so far on the lives. But I don't know. I think that might be a good place to call it for the day, unless you want to dig into anything else.
No, I think it's good. We're planning out the next episode. If anyone does come back along these retroactively, we're about to be prioritizing some interviews. We've got some friendlies that are going to be very helpful in getting it going. And it stinks. This is not blowing smoke. This is very legitimate. Is the people we find ourselves surrounded by are like, I feel bad burning them on an early episode because they're like ballers. Like we have people in our friend
Bring them
group.
back. It's okay. We're not burning anyone.
I
We're
know,
not burning anyone.
I know. It's just like, oh man, this is a story for tens of thousands of people, not dozens. But anyway, yes, we'll bring them back. So cool. All right. Well, thanks anyone who tuned in live or comes in after the fact. If you find value in this content or you just want to support some up and coming creators, please hit all the like buttons that you can find, this platform or otherwise. Subscribe, and as Nick said at the beginning, more than anything, really just share it with somebody who would find it valuable. And do leave a comment if you have something specific that you would like us to talk about. We'd be happy to honor the first requests. Only a few comments so far, so like you're not lost in a sea of giant audience ship. So awesome. Well, Nick, anything else from you?
I think we're good. Thanks for joining in, and we will see you tomorrow here at 4 p.m.
Take care.